welcome back to the Halo series. My name is Douglas Brown, CEO at Halo Consulting. Today we are joined by Sam Zipp, CEO at Gem the app. If you're new to this event, Halo hosts monthly virtual roundtable events covering current trends in the HR, tech, and DEI space. Don't forget to check out the Halo mini-series where we hear from executives taking a deep dive into a multi-part series discussing what is keeping them up at night. If you've enjoyed this content, hit that like and subscribe button and sign up for our monthly Halo newsletter, which summarizes current market trends and recaps past events, and that link can be found in the description. Throughout our session, we will cover navigating the funding landscape, understanding this stage of startup funding. Before we kick off the questions, let's get started with you, Sam. Can you share with our audience where you started your career and how it has evolved into starting your own company, Gem the app?
Absolutely. Thank you, Doug. First and foremost, thank you for having me. I really appreciate people that put platforms like this together and give entrepreneurs like myself in the startup world a platform to talk about our journey. And even, if there's any hiccups we've made that could help others along their way, it's a win in my book. So I really appreciate you for putting this together. But just to dive into, how my career got started, it's definitely not the traditional route. And I say that lightly in a good way. I didn't do the school route. I didn't, get a job after school and then, kind of find out what I love to do and work my way up. I've kind of did it backwards. I was always an entrepreneur since high school, as many of my friends know. And what I loved doing was finding solutions to problems that people had and optimizing the time to get them completed. I was just a geek when it came to getting stuff done the right, efficient way. And so that's kind of, that's where in high school I had that mindset of becoming an entrepreneur. And just like many of us when we're kids, we love creating. And that's really where Gem started. I was very involved with music back then and still am today. And just to dive right into the question, I started with graphic design, making CD covers for my buddy in high school. And then from there, he's like, now I have a CD cover, but my music doesn't sound professional. It's like, oh, great. Let me learn how to sound engineer. So I went from learning how to Photoshop at 13 to engineering music with Pro Tools. And then from there, in this industry of entertainment marketing, I feel like in the startup world, the word hustle grind is part of the business model, it seems like. So after learning how to engineer music, I had to start learning how to hustle and grind in this industry. And in that realm, it became booking shows, learning that you don't make much money in the early stages booking shows. So we had to start our own merch line. So now I'm a merch guy. I got to create, I use my graphic design background to start creating merch so we could make some money. And then long story short, through that grind and hustle, I like to call it, and just always kind of keeping one foot forward, I got, blessed and got on a couple of national tours with some of the hottest iTunes artists at the time. And back then, like being top rated iTunes artist was like a big deal. Now it's like Spotify and all that. And then, went on a tour, a 3-month tour, and I literally witnessed with my own eyes the problems in the booking and celebrity space, even getting product to celebrities. I had drink companies reach out to us asking if we could put their energy drink on stage while we performed. And we were just openers on this tour. Support act openers. So on tour, I really learned the space, the loopholes, and then it got my brain thinking, just like I was in high school, how could I solve this problem in the most optimized way? And Gem was born.
That's a really inspiring story, Sam, and your entrepreneurial journey to where you started when you were 13 creating CD covers to where you are now definitely speaks volume in terms of the hustle and grind. As you continue to embark on your entrepreneurial journey, what is the story and mission behind Gem?
What really puts a smile on my face is, and this may sound a little cheesy, is giving the power back to the people. And in this industry, that's specifically influencers, creators, celebrities, and even business owners and brands. Because for so long, the Hollywood industry has been kind of like an exclusive club. And so for many years, not as of late with social media, but it's been kind of exclusive, so hard to tap into. So when I first started Gem, I was trying to create a payment gateway portal, an app, a social network where anyone from Chicago, which is a huge city, could book a talent. because even being from Chicago, it seemed like to get a hold of Justin Bieber was impossible. Like you needed to know someone in Hollywood. And little did you know, you get to Hollywood and you it's not that hard. It just seems that it's hard. So what gets me excited in the mission is to put smiles back on the faces of the people, bringing power back to creators, business owners, and kind of cutting out that middleman in this industry and just providing a direct relationship for both parties. And the way we're doing that right now is via gifting influencers and celebrities, as well as offering them a platform to do paid campaigns without having to pay all those middleman fees, which are ridiculous. That's a whole nother topic. So that's really the mission behind it. And we're trying to create a lifestyle here. We don't want to be another app or just software company.
I really like what you said, Sam, and it really resonated with me. You like to put a smile on everyone's face, giving power back to the people. So if you are not familiar with Gem, the app, definitely recommend checking it out. Sam and I did a pilot a couple of months ago as an influencer for Halo Consulting, and it was a really cool experience. So for those influencers that are looking to check out a new platform, here it is. It's Gem, the app. Well, now let's move on and discuss what do you look for in a good investor, Sam?
Well, we think big, on our dream board, just I'm going to throw the name out there because they're still on our dream board. We think big like M13 and, we've got in touch with them. We got introduced to them luckily. So that's why I'm saying it out loud. But all to say, we're looking for the best. We're looking for an investor that could think just as big as us. And, I would be impressed if they could outthink us because that would be a bigger win. We want someone that understands, we're change makers. We're not here to fit in the space. We're here to disrupt it. And it does make it more of a challenge and more convincing. But if you find that one person that was maybe experienced, oh yeah, I got middleman 100,000, or if I only had an ability to gift these 10 influencers, I'm confident that we would have gotten free promotion. That's how much I believe in my product. So an influencer or investor that kind of lived that would really understand. And, that's what we look for, to understand we're change makers, and they're willing to see the big vision, call it the 20-year plan. And with a great investor that could support us and provide the resources needed, we could take that 20-year plan and narrow it down to 5. And that's really what gets me going. So, because at the end of the day, our goal isn't to be the best influencer marketing app. It's to be the best company that could help change the world.
Awesome. I really like that response, Sam. Now that we've talked about what you look for in a good investor, what approach have you taken to find investors?
Yeah, so I'll briefly mention how we've managed thus far. And, and then I also love to kind of tap into a couple breaks we received, I'll call it, but it all comes from this approach. And it initially starts with friends, family, and business colleagues, right? And it sounds easy, if you know friends and family that could all kind of pitch in. But it's actually harder because you have to impress the closest people to you. And you have this pressure that you have to like present your vision fully so they could put their money where my mouth is. And to help do that, it was, we would create small wins throughout the journey. We would hit any certain milestones, and I would make sure everyone knew that, we went to TechCrunch and we did get 3rd place at the Startup Alley. We did get invited to Uber Ventures in Chicago, which was a private venture fund that no one knows about, that they send a car to pick you up and then you pitch your business inside of an Uber car. It's going to South by Southwest and going on stage called Pitch the Hottest Startup. And I had to eat the world's hottest pepper and pitch the startup. And everyone coming up to me saying, great job. It's having these stories and be able to tell them, your friends and family and colleagues, is what was our greatest approach. And then you never know who you're talking to or who knows who, right? So you may be talking to your best friend, you tell them the story, you get them excited, they tell their friend, next thing you know, you close the small angel round and you can keep going as a startup. So that's kind of the approach we've taken. And with that approach, it's brought in bigger VCs reaching out to us. And granted, we are in the creator economy space, and I know it's a space a lot of VCs want to tap into. So I know we're getting approached just on that aspect. But when we do get a chance and we do have those conversations and I do get to share these stories, I believe this is why the M13s and the other VCs are saying, hey, keep us in mind. Reach out to us every month if you don't mind. And so those little wins early on, you can use the same stories for the VCs that you've had on your dream board.
Yeah, I really like the examples and stories that you just shared, Sam. Eating the hottest pepper, pitching Gem the app to the audience and the judges, the Uber pitch itself. That's something that I have not heard before, but sounds like a really cool experience to be a part of. So it sounds like you're doing all the right things to find investors. Let's move on to the next question. Have you ever considered using an incubator or accelerator program or services from an investor?
Yeah, I kind of have like I said from the beginning, this isn't going to be a traditional response from me from our startup journey. And so I've definitely considered, and in the traditional sense, we're so open to it. Our team is, we think it would create extremely beneficial environment for our team, as well as anyone we, incubate with, if that's the right word. Our team does bring a lot of value, and we understand that there's things we don't know, and that's the whole point of an incubator, to help us kind of accelerate. No pun intended there, but to kind of dive even deeper, we've had angel kind of incubate me a little bit in the untraditional route, where if they provided housing and a workspace and funding. So, but in this case, without going too deep, it was very beneficial just on the funding, housing, and workspace availability. But I would have loved to. I would love to. It's still an opportunity, if it's out there, join in an incubator or an accelerator that, outside of the funding, offer more mentorship and kind of shortcuts to where we need to get, because that's something you can't really pay for, is people's experience. Well, technically you can, but it's that experience we want, and that like shortcut to optimize what we're trying to do in a quicker amount of time.
Thanks for that context, Sam. With your platform today, how are you managing the need to grow versus the need to conserve costs in today's market?
As a startup, we don't really have a choice but to put the pedal to the metal and continue to find ways to grow and get the word out. The influencer marketing space is becoming a little bit more competitive. And with that, just that alone, we don't want to slow any momentum. So there's no even thoughts of conserving costs. It's spend as much as we can, get the word out, figure out creative ways if we don't have the funds to get the word out. So just short answer, we've really just been putting the pedal to the metal and reaching out to influencers via DMs, cold email outreaches, investing into those platforms to help get those leads and really tailor messages to those people, so they really do see value in us instead of just like random outreaches. So definitely have no other option but to have the growth mindset where we are at our stage right now.
Yeah, the growth mindset is critical and essential for the growth of a startup like yours, Sam. And it sounds like you guys are doing all the right things today. So really excited to see what you guys are able to accomplish within the next 6 to 12 months. Moving on to the next question, how have you changed your business model strategy based on the current market and recession that we're in?
Truthfully, it's a little too early to tell if we changed anything based on the current market or recession. But in overall, I don't think we necessarily changed anything. There's always pivots, and I think we were at the right place at the right time, where we pivoted more into gifting opposed to booking, without getting too into it, where we felt there's more opportunity to provide gifts to influencers first prior to spending that top dollar and booking them, and kind of getting a feel for, is this the right influencer before you make that payment. So with the current market recession and even COVID, a lot of events were canceled. So celebrities weren't even booked to do events, which is crazy because we pivoted prior to that, where our model now is more logistics based, meaning we just provide gifts to influencers. So I hope I answered that question, but the current market recession, COVID, it kind of boosted our business and brought more brands to thinking differently, as far as just getting their product in front of influencers, and the fact that we're an end-to-end solution and they don't have to do anything besides just send the gifts to our warehouse and we handle it from there. It's been pretty beneficial. So, and it also allowed brands and business owners to think outside the box of their current advertisement and marketing mythology, such as ads, Google, Facebook, Instagram ads, and kind of opened up a whole new world. So it's actually been you know, it's been beneficial to us, but I do understand that it hit other industries differently. So, we understand it could be difficult for others, but for us in this space, it's been luckily not so bad.
Appreciate that context, Sam. So I've been waiting to ask you this question, and in terms of celebrating small wins and milestones, and taking third place at TechCrunch, which is super exciting. Can you share a couple of success stories with our audience?
Yeah, I kind of put this into I have like a three-part thought in my head. So outside of the events we've done, the tech crunches, just to be clear, we did Startup Alley, and the owner spoke with us and said that he was really interested to getting us on stage, but he didn't understand what he called the showbiz industry, and it kind of just showed me that the industry wasn't like up to par yet with what's currently going on. If people are still dropping the word showbiz, it's not even, that's kind of old school, but the tech crunches have been fun for us. Those are great milestones, but just getting straight to the business model, last year when we essentially rolled out and did a bunch of pivots, we did our first influencer gift box. And to us, that's a huge milestone. We call it season one. Just in roughly 45 days, we've landed 18 clients. And to us, that's a huge success, all via cold leads. So anyone out there, you could definitely get business doing cold leads as long as your offer is beneficial to the people you're reaching out to. So I consider that a huge win. Just towards the end of Q4, 18 brands. We gifted roughly 200 products to almost 100 influencers on our platform. So something we're very proud of, bootstrapped, essentially no marketing involved. And to dive even deeper into that, one of our campaigns, to paint a picture, we gifted 20 influencers. And so it's a gift campaign. So in essence, there's no strings attached. You don't really have a guarantee. But if you provide an experience that Gem does to the influencer, it kind of tickles their heartstrings. And so then you get them to fall in love with the product. And so we're proud to say we gifted 20 influencers for one of our campaigns, and we received well over 40 posts. So that's very hard to achieve, even on paid campaigns. And we did this all on a gift campaign. So very thrilled to share that. And then on the other side of things, we have influencers, right? So there's also influencers joining our app outside of brands. So, I wake up, I'm like, oh, this person joined. I have no clue who they are. They end up being, a mega celebrity that was married to a A-lister, and they're in our platform. So I don't want to name drop. So that's the milestone. We have influencers from shows I used to watch, like Seventh Heaven, not only joining our platform, having email communication with us. Like, I'm a fan and I got to keep it professional. And they're not only claiming gifts and being active, they're posting and they're celebrities. So it gives us great case studies to show, hey, like we have, although we're an influencer marketing platform, we specialize with nano and micro. We have mega and celebrities posting because of the experience we provide. So Netflix actors, musicians. So so those are just a couple of case studies and just accomplishments, milestones we've just hit just in Q4 of last year. So definitely the momentum's there, and we're hitting the ground running already in 2023.
Yeah, it sounds like Q4 of 2022 is extremely successful, and yeah, it'll be exciting to see where Gem the app is able to go from here. But appreciate you sharing those success stories, Sam. And I know for all those aspiring entrepreneurs out there, continue to show up and chase your wildest dreams. And Sam, who is here live with us today, he is a great example of someone who's been there, done that, and is continuing to hustle and grind every day. Sam, we have two last questions here. For aspiring entrepreneurs out there, if there was one piece of advice that you wish you received prior to becoming an entrepreneur, what would it be?
So the first thing that comes to mind is to see all your options through. Meaning, when you get excited and you start a company and you get connected, in this case with development or whatnot, it's okay to be excited and see that opportunity and really put it on top of your list, because they're the first ones that showed interest and believed in what you're doing. But it doesn't hurt to go scout and another set of developers or another set of options just to compare, instead of just diving into just the first available option that's in front of you. And that's something I think people need to just kind of tone down their excitement in a respectful way, because that's almost impossible to do. take the opportunity you're excited about, put it on paper, and try to clone it 2 or 3 times and fulfill the other options. So then you have all of them in front of you so you can make your best decision. And it's not going to take much time. It might take a week. It's not like we're saying spend a year to scout someone else or to try or to see if there's other options out there. I'm saying spend a few days and hone that excitement and then make the best choice. That's kind of the biggest piece of advice I give myself. And lastly, everyone says this: don't hire an agency right away. You are an agency as a startup. You are the one that knows what to do best. You know that you have to do cold leads. You know what to say better than anyone else. Someone else you're just going to pay them a lot of money to tell you that you're right, and they may move a few words around, but the message is always the same. So if you're an entrepreneur, you probably know how to break a few barriers on your own. That's the first step. So you could always do the work of an agency. Give yourself a month. Give yourself a chance, a fighting chance. Like maybe we could pull it off ourselves before we take it to the next level. So those are the two main things I would definitely tell myself if I could kind of go back in time.
That's some really great context, Sam. And one thing that that really resonated with me is to see all your options through, do your due diligence and research, and like you said, being able to recreate it 3 or 4 different times to be able to educate yourself and make the best decision for your company. So I really liked your response.
Thank you.
And Sam, the last question we have here: where do you see yourself in GEM in 5 years?
So, this kind of goes back to that, influence the investor question. We need to see someone that sees the big vision, the 20-year plan that we want to nail down to 5, right? So it sounds impossible, but we truly want to be the leading influencer, celebrity booking and gifting platform, all your entertainment needs. And to paint a better picture, because it could sound like gibberish to some people, we want to create a digital Warner Brothers, where you could book talent. You have a studio to go to. Influencers have a gem house to create content. The times have changed. Industry's being ran on kerosene. It's on its final drops of kerosene. It's running out, and it needs, a jolt of electricity, and here we are. And it's not going to come from the form of, it can, but it's not, in my opinion. You could be the smartest guy in the room. You went to Harvard and you created the software for influencers. That's not going to do it. You need the experience. You need to be in it. You need to fall down. You need to get threats, not death threats, but you need to handle your stuff. You have to go through all these things to then be like, okay, this is how we're going to make the change. And I know we could do it. And like I said, it sounds crazy, but we want to completely flip the entertainment industry upside down, put power back to the people. And then from there, that's how you make the world a better place.
Really, really like your response, Sam, and wishing you and the team much success in 2023 and beyond. As we conclude, is there anything you'd like to share or talk about in terms of the work that you're doing today at GEM personally?
Sure. I guess just on a random note, I feel like experience is everything. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. And it's to create an experience for your users. Otherwise, one of my mentors, Kyle Sherman at FlowHub, said, otherwise it's going to be a race to the bottom, and you're going to try to charge the least and just have the cheapest price, when really you just want to create an experience with whatever you're doing. And with us, I'm just excited to always build on our UI UX. What's the easiest way to optimize? And what really kind of got my juices flowing on this mindset, which I've always had, is a recent interview with Rob Deerdeck and Ed Milet, and how he created the Deerdeck machine, and how he's literally optimized his time. He learned, not to get too into it, so we could wrap up. He figured out how to spend the same amount of time filming all of his shows and taking his kids to school the whole year. So that's where my focus is how can I optimize my time as well as our users' experience, where it's in and out, but it's such a great experience that you're going to come back and repeat the in and out experience, and gamify your app and make people want to come back. So Not sure if I even answered that question, but what I am excited about is to keep the experience high, make sure everyone has the best experience at GEM. It's extremely streamlined, a fair playing field. We're the referees, everyone wins. And those are the things that actually keep me up at night. It's staying creative, and what feature are we going to deploy over the next. But if you think about it, you don't always have to be writing it down. Your mind is a beautiful thing. It creates for you. And then when it's time to execute, all the scenarios have been played out and it gets really exciting. And then at the end of the day, you hope to create the best experience for your users and just build off that. So it's been a really crazy fun journey, and it's just the start. And to even start the year off with an interview with you guys at Halo Consulting, very thankful and blessed. It's just, speaks volumes to what type of great year this is going to be for everyone.
Well said, Sam. Thanks again for your time today, and we look forward to staying connected.
Likewise, thank you so much.